Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tranquil Journeys. I'm Jennifer Fatier, and I'm here with Allison Clement, and we are your instructors. Allison and I are both Reiki masters, and between the two of us, we have training in complementary practices such as sound for relaxation, massage therapy, Ayurveda, and Reiki. We've been teaching and affiliated with Images of Hope for over 6 years to bring healing arts classes to cancer patients, caregivers, and anyone affected by cancer or trauma in El Dorado County. We're so happy that you're joining us, and we want to thank you for your continued support of Images of Hope and our virtual classes. Today, we'll spend time on self-care practices and meditation with the theme of touch and using self massage techniques for relaxation and wellness, and to incorporate more touch in our routine for wellness. And we hope that you leave the session feeling more relaxed and nourished and guided by your own inner wisdom. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Allison and we'll get started.
Yeah, well, we'll move right on to a technique I'll demonstrate. But just quickly before we do, I'll just mention that, we all need the comfort of touch. And if you feel like you're maybe not getting all the hugs that you really need, animals can be wonderful. And if you don't have a pet, there are a lot of places where you can volunteer, animal shelters or whatever, too. Just give some loving to pets or work with horses. That's often an overlooked way of getting some loving and giving some loving to some creatures that need it. So don't turn down even a fist bump. Anyway, the technique that I'm going to share with you is called the butterfly hug. Because sometimes just even giving ourselves a hug or a tap does a world of good, calms down those anxiety hormones and chemicals that course through us, the fight or flight response. And this technique is no exception. It's a self-soothing method designed to help anxiety, even panic, any sort of distress. And it involves, rhythmic, alternating tapping or touching movements on your body, on your shoulder, just below your shoulders, to create that wonderful sense of comfort and security. So the way to do it is find a quiet, safe, comfortable place. And you can do it sitting or lying down. And you begin by taking a few deep breaths to relax. Keep your back straight and your chest wide. It's interesting to know that a hunched posture with an arched back, that restricts your breathing, and actually that adds to anxiety. So if you can sit up straight, widen your chest, that'll already start that calming effect. So here's how we do it. You cross your arms and put your palms on your chest so that your right hand is near your left shoulder and vice versa. So the tip of your middle finger should touch the lower edge of your collarbone. So, and you can imagine this movement as a gentle hug. As you do this, just start continuing to breathe deeply And then begin tapping, gently patting your hands alternately just below your shoulders on your either upper arms or below your collarbone. The movement should be very soothing and rhythmic. But don't pay too much attention to getting the right tempo. Just do it in a calm way. You can close your eyes, breathe calmly and slowly, tapping your hands alternately. And don't worry too much about your breathing. Just try and do nice, deep belly breaths. Use your abdomen to breathe deeply while you do this. And focus your attention on that comforting sensation of your hands touching your arms. If your mind starts to wander, just take your focus back to the tapping. Pay attention to how that feels, the touch of your hands, the rhythm of your breath, the feel of your breath in and out. And maybe after 3 to 5 minutes of this alternate tapping, you can come to a stop, take a deep breath, and then continue that feeling of calm. Just a note that your hands should face upwards as much as possible, not sideways, upwards. And that's all there is to it. Just a crossover with the alternate tapping and focusing on your breath. So you don't tap at the same time. You alternate first one hand, then the next. And that is the butterfly hug technique. It's used a lot successfully in a technique called EMDR, which has been very successful with people who have even undergone trauma or PTSD. So even for something like anxiety or general relaxation, it's a lovely soothing type of routine. I think it kind of grounds us in that physical sensation rather than it takes us out of our mind whirl. So that's it, the butterfly hug technique. And I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer for a soothing guided meditation.
Okay, so we're going to continue with some self massage techniques to bring more nurturing and comforting practices. The self massage helps to enhance circulation and remove tension from the mind and body. And in general, just helps create a feeling of wellness and nourishment. And it's a tool that you can use to just increase peace and calm in our busy lives. It's always a good thing to find ways to cope with all of the stress coming at us or just daily daily activities. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. We're going to be sitting in a chair or on the floor, wherever you're most comfortable, for the next 10 minutes or so. If you are in a chair, it's good to keep your feet flat on the floor, and that way you have some grounding as you're sitting there. And if you're if you're sitting on the floor, you can sit cross-legged or with your legs out in front of you, if that's comfortable for you. And if you'd like, you can also pull out your favorite essential oil and diffuse that if you have a diffuser, or just open the lid and leave the bottle without the lid, and you can smell the aroma of that essential oil. I like to use the orange essential oil because it's a natural mood enhancer. So it really brings a sense of happiness and joy to the environment. And so when you're ready, we'll just take a couple deep breaths here and get ourselves just centered and peaceful in our sitting position. And you're welcome to close your eyes during the guided meditation, or keep them open so you can follow instructions by listening or watching. Either way, I'll guide you through so that you can do whatever feels most comfortable. We're just going to be using our fingertips or the palms of our hands as we move through the techniques. So you can take a moment to rub your hands together and just generate the flow of energy within your hands, maybe create some warmth. And at the same time that you're doing this, let your eyes close and take a breath and begin to focus on your inhale and exhale. When you're ready, you can just hold your hands together at your chest area and focus on breathing comfortably and naturally. Relax your shoulders on your exhale. And now that we've become present in this moment, let's begin at the top of our head. And we're just going to do some light circular movements with our fingertips over the very top of the skull. And then just allow your hands to continue those circular movements all the way down the back center of the skull. And keep going all the way down to where the neck and head meet. And just use a pressure that's comfortable for you. And go nice and slowly so that it's very relaxing for you. And then you can start to massage the back of the neck where the head meets the skull, the occipital bone, in those circular movements from center towards the ears. Just nice and slowly massage all the mental tension away. And then just take your fingertips and kind of grab the sides of your skull with your fingertips, massaging the side above the ears, kind of going back towards the top of your head. is a great way to release mental tension and stimulate touch on the head. It helps stimulate the brain. And then just bring the fingertips to the top of the hairline in the center of the forehead and just let your fingertips drag to the side of the forehead, right at the hairline, all the way down to your temples, and then just slowly do some circular movements at the temples. You can close your eyes here. Don't forget to breathe and go back to the center of the forehead. And again, just spread your forehead muscles apart so you let your fingertips drag all the way across the forehead towards the temples, ending at the temples, massaging there again in a circular movement. And then you want to use your index and thumb and just pinch the skin behind the eyebrows. Start at the center and work your way towards the temples again, and then just massage the corners of the eyes. This is great to stimulate the flow of energy and oxygen to all the muscles in the face. I already feel tension in my head just going away. And then just let your fingertips drag to the center of the cheeks, your jawbone. And you can just press on that area if that's comfortable for you, or you can do some circular movements right at the point where the jaw opens and closes. Circular movements with your fingertips. Oftentimes we don't realize how tight and tense the jaw can get. So just paying attention by touching this area really helps relieve the stress that we carry in our jaw. And if it's tight here, it can create tightness in the neck and the head. So it's very important to pay attention to this area of the body. And then you can just tap the same area, just very lightly and gently. And then tap under the nose, above the top lip, or you can hold and circle. And then on the chin, do some circular movements with your fingertips. And then you can press the jawline. So it's almost like you're grabbing with your fingertips or pressing from the ears to the tip of the chin. Feels really good. You can do this a few times. And don't forget to massage the ears. So just take the top of the earlobe, squeeze with the fingertips the top of the earlobe, and work your way down to the bottom of the earlobe. You can do some circular movements and then pull the bottom of the earlobe down, pull the top of the earlobe up. This stimulates the entire body according to reflexology. And make sure to do both ears. And then you can stroke with your fingertips, lift your head a bit, just stroke the chin and down the neck to your collarbone. And do that 3 times. And let's take a breath here. And as your fingertips have drifted to your collarbone, find the point under the collarbone. You can put a thumb and index finger under the collarbone, and we'll hit those anxiety points that we have here in acupressure. So there's one point on this side, and the other is on this side. It's right under the collarbone. And you can just hold this point or do some circular movements here. Take a breath. Then gently reach across your shoulder and squeeze the top of your shoulder and down your arm. When you get to the elbow, do some circular movements around the elbow. Squeeze the forearm down to the wrist. Just squeeze over the joints nice and comfortably. And then just massage each finger by squeezing and pressing nice and gently. You can squeeze and press into the palm. Make sure to do each finger. And again, until you're really pressing these areas, sometimes you don't notice where you're holding tension or that you might have a lot of soreness in your hands. So if you do find a spot that's sore, just spend a little time using some pressure, massaging with your fingertips, and go back the same way that you started. Do some circular movements around your elbow. Try to reach all sides of your arm. You can even do some circular movements around your shoulder joint. And then do the other side. Start with some circular movements and some squeezing of the shoulder. You can squeeze into the neck muscles as well. Make sure you're comfortable. You're not straining in any way as you're doing any of these techniques. You don't want to strain. So do what feels comfortable and continue to breathe. Again, massage this hand the same way. It feels so good just to take some time massaging the body. Just giving yourself some attention and to really notice where you might be holding extra stress in your muscles. And then just come to the center of the chest and you can press and hold here. There's an acupressure point there. And then when you get to the torso, place your hands on your rib cage and feel yourself inhale and exhale. And just hold the sides of your body. And then move your hands to your hips. If you need to shift your position, you can do that now. And just hold the hips. And let's take a breath here. And then as you're sitting here holding your hips, just rock side to side very, very gently and very easily, keeping your hands on your hips if that's comfortable. And then if it's comfortable to reach towards your back, massage your lower back, just doing some circular movements with your palms. If you feel like you have a lot of tension in your lower back, you can turn your palms like this on your back side if that's comfortable for you, and just let your hands roll along your back with the top of your hand, kind of doing some circular movements. And if that's not comfortable, don't strain. Just keep your hands on your hips. Hold your hips. And then bring your hands back to the area of your belly button. And let's just make a very small circle around the belly button. So just use your fingertips and nice and slowly let's stimulate the belly. This helps with digestion. And if it's not comfortable to rub your belly, then just hold your belly. And again, just go nice and slow. There's no need to rush through any of these moves. You want it to be comforting and soothing. And once you're done massaging, just hold the belly again and let's take another breath. And then let's move our hands to our thighs. And we just want to use our hands and rub circular movement around the knees. And then let our hands just glide over the outside of the thigh to the hip and hold. So you do a circular movement around your knees. You can do this the same time on both knees. And then let your hands glide on the outside of the thigh to the hip and just hold the hip. And do that one more time. There's many, many acupressure and energy points on the outside of the thigh that you're stimulating by doing this. And then, if it's comfortable to reach to your calves and feet, you can kind of maneuver your position so that you can reach those areas. And if it's not comfortable to reach, you can leave your hands on your thighs or your knees. And so, again, just let your hands glide up and down the calf. And when you get to your ankle, you can do some circular movements around the ankle. And if it's comfortable to reach the toes, make sure to squeeze and press on each toe. Squeeze and press the foot. If it's comfortable to tap at the bottom of the foot, you can use a fist and hit the bottom of the center of the foot like that. And then change sides. So you just let your hands massage around the knee, glide down to the ankle, circular movements around your ankle. Press and squeeze each toe. Press and squeeze the foot. And again, this feels so great. Releases a lot of tension in the lower body just by massaging the feet. And then tap the center of that foot. And then let your hands come back to your thighs. So let's sit and just enjoy the relaxation we've created for ourselves and listen to the sound of the bowls. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and shift around, do the brush off technique, brushing off the energy of your arms and body. Brush off from head to toe. And don't forget to drink plenty of water after your session today. And now I'll turn it over to Allison for our quote.
And before I read the quote, I'll just give you a quick, interesting historical note about the power of touch. Um, in the 1800s, there was a condition where babies just did not thrive. They used a Greek term for it called marasmus. And in Greek, it means something like wasting away. And there was a doctor who came along at that time. His name was Dr. Henry Chapin. And he noticed that the babies that suffered from this condition were in a sterile environment without germs, so that could not be the cause of this condition. He found that the common denominator for this problem was a lack of touch. These babies just weren't held much at all. And he experimented, and he tried bringing in people to hold the babies, to talk to them, to stroke them. And suddenly, these babies became healthy and they thrived. And that missing ingredient was touch. That was just a little fascinating anecdote that really shows how important touch is to all of us, and we never outgrow that need. So this particular quote is appropriate. It's from Margaret Atwood. She said, "Touch comes before sight, before speech. It is the first language and the last, and it always tells the truth." Margaret Atwood. So we want to thank you again for your support and for the support of Images of Hope, El Dorado. And this class has all been about the power of touch. And we hope you have a very good month before we see you next time. And thank you again. Bye-bye.